we want to look at another step in the way of preparing for our Thanksgiving. There are certain things that we need to do. Giving, being grateful, faith, love, which are the other principles we have treated before, lies with one thing. As much as we want to show love, something may be holding us back. The time. We don't have the time. As much as we want to show gratitude to God, we believe we don't have enough, or what we have is not enough. And so we are trying to keep ourselves, restrain ourselves from doing some certain things. And so this is going to lead us to today's principle, which is the principle of sacrifice. The principle of sacrifice. The principle of sacrifice. Our focus today is to know what sacrifice is. We want to look at the fine line between sacrifice and giving. When is giving considered a sacrifice? At what time is giving considered a sacrifice? And then we'll also look at why is sacrifice important? Why is sacrifice important? Why is sacrifice important? Our main text will be 2 Samuel 24, verse 22 to 25. 2 Samuel 24, 22 to 25. 2 Samuel 24, 22 to 25. Let me give you what will look like a memory verse for tonight. That is, if you are not taking anything away, please don't forget this. All giving is not sacrifice. And all sacrifice is giving. I repeat that again. All giving is not sacrifice. But all sacrifice is giving. So it takes a momentum, it takes a continuation, it takes persistence for giving to enter the realm of sacrifice. It takes continuity, it takes persistence for giving to enter into the realm of sacrifice. But sacrifice can be once. You can give one sacrifice and you can make one sacrifice and you will hit the mark. So what are the fine line between the two of them as we prepare for our Thanksgiving harvest? We can give, we can make sacrifice as we prepare for our Thanksgiving harvest. We can give, but we can also make sacrifice. You can give without it costing you much. That is giving. You can give when it does not cost you anything, or without it costing you anything. I'm going to give a scenario, and I want us to respond in the column by typing A or B. There were two friends who set out for a journey. Just they went for a vacation or a sightseeing. So before they left home, they prepare their breakfast, their lunch, and their dinner. Their breakfast, their lunch, and their dinner. So when they got to the site, both of them sat down and they ate. And they ate their breakfast. So as they were finishing, they saw somebody who came for the same, visit, but has no food. And now one of them offer to give this man his lunch, leaving this man to be with just dinner. But the other guy said, well, I only came with my lunch, my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner, but I have eaten my breakfast. I cannot sacrifice or give you my dinner because I will have nothing to eat. But don't worry, I have some coins in my wallet. I will give you those coins. So among these two, please, who gives sacrifice and who make sacrifice and who give? Or how do you quantify the category of these two? What is given among the two and what is sacrifice? If the one that give the lunch is giving, just put A. If the one that give the coins is sacrifice, put B. Let's please. If you want also to address it openly, you can open up your phone and talk to us. Let it be a kind of interacting class. Anybody? Thank you, Brother Kingsley Yamu. Can you explain the browser? Sorry, thank you. Brother Kingsley Yamu, if you are able, can you explain why you said A?
Giving and sacrifice. I said A because they don't give what they were going to eat later. Even with faith, the other guy gave money, not giving what the man actually needs.
I don't know if it is only me that is not hearing well.
Hello?
Better now.
Okay. I said A because the man that gave his lunch gave as a sacrifice, giving what he was supposed to eat with faith that there's still something. The man that gave his money, I don't know if I will call that sacrifice or giving now because he didn't give what the man wanted at that particular time.
Okay.
The man needed food to eat. If you give the man money to go and buy food, he's pushing the man forward because the man needs it instantly.
Okay. So giving him money at the time he need food probably make you consider it as giving, not sacrifice.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Razasere, I saw your answer. You want to clarify us also?
I think in line with what Brother Ife said, the one that gave coins just gave what was convenient for him, not really what the other man needs. And the one that gave food was sacrificed because he's going to miss lunch. Now, he doesn't have lunch. He gave his lunch for somebody to have food. But the one that gave out his coins for just, hey, this is convenient for me, and just gave to him.
Thank you very much. Both of you hit the nail at the head. Now, I want to go back to my comment again that all giving is not sacrifice, and all sacrifice is giving. So you'll see here that both of them perform an art. What is the art they perform? The art of giving. The art of giving. But one did it, in a way that he didn't feel the pain. He didn't feel anything. It did it, like Brasasere said, out of convenience. We don't even know what coins, if the coins he gave will buy food or not. So, but he gave something out of maybe abundance. But the other guy possibly have coins, but he chose not to give exactly what this person need. He has to miss lunch to satisfy somebody else. So sacrifice is something that costs you something. Sacrifice is something that costs you something. Now, example of giving that is not sacrifice is donating leftover, giving money you would not use or that are not important, giving clothes you no longer wear, giving shoes that doesn't size you again. This is giving, but they are not considered sacrifice. It will be sacrifice if you are giving away clothes that you still wear because somebody has nothing to wear. In Mark 12, verse 44, Jesus said they all gave out of their wealth. This was not what? Sacrifice. They all gave because they have abundance. But the widow who gave just the 2 pence, she have both at the bank and at home in her pocket, everything. That was what that money represents. Jesus said she gave the most. So all sacrifice is giving. Every true sacrifice involves giving something away, whether money, time, comfort, or self. The difference is that sacrifice costs you dearly. It costs you a lot. It is an offering that comes with loss, denial, or risk. Anytime you give an offering, anytime something leaves you that looks like a loss to you, that looks like you are denying yourself of some certain enjoyment or comfort, or even put you at a risk of not knowing what to expect, that is sacrifice. When we look at biblical characters and examples of givers, sometimes you wonder what interests Jesus in the boy who has just 5 loaves and 2 fishes. What interests Jesus in his case? Why is that considered a sacrifice? Left alone to this world, 5 loaves. Somebody may want to take out 2 loaves when somebody asks, okay, I have 2 loaves and 5 loaves and 2 fishes. So let me take 1 fish or even half of the fish and then give. This is for me. But this boy never removed anything out of it. With faith, he gave it to Jesus. As I was meditating, I asked myself this question: who guaranteed this boy that with the 12 disciples, no matter how small Jesus break that food or share it, what guarantee does this boy have that they will remember him to give him? What if all the 12 disciples just decide to eat the bread and the fishes? This boy will remain in hunger. Is at a risk of remaining in hunger, but yet he sacrificed it. He sacrificed it. This is why it is considered a sacrifice. The difference is that sacrifice costs you dearly. It is an offering that comes with loss, denial, or risk. In 2 Samuel 24, verse 20 to 25, David set an example that offering or giving to the Lord must not be at convenience sake or time. It is not when we are very convenient that we should give. It is not when we are very comfortable we should give. It is not when it pleases us that we should give. In making sacrifice, Aruna looked in verse 20, he said, Aruna looked and saw the king and his servant coming towards him. And Aruna went out and bowed himself before the king in his face upon the ground. Aruna said, wherefore is my lord the king come to his servant? And David said, to buy. the threshing floor of thee to build an altar unto the Lord, that the plague may be stayed from the people. There was a plague in the land, sickness in the land, like COVID the other day. And David, was instructed or wanted to build an altar, but he needed a threshing floor. And this man, Aruna, has one. So Aruna understands that what affected the city affected him also. So in a way of making his own little contribution to the king, I don't want to sell it. Take the threshing floor for free. Build your altar. At least it is for all of us. But hear what David said. And the king says unto Aruna, no, but I will surely buy it of thee at a price. Neither will I offer burnt offering unto the Lord my God of that which do not cost me nothing. So David bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 shekels of silver. Now, what David is simply saying that anything that does not cost him anything is not good for the Lord. This is not about not having money. This is not about not receiving honor. He's a king. He's entitled to gifts. He can be gifted acres of land. He can be gifted millions of land. In fact, my parable says that he would have received that threshing floor, at will. You remember that Naboth, Ahab killed Naboth for almost a similar thing. He wanted his vineyard because it was close to his house. But Naboth says, no, it's my father's property. It's an inheritance. I can't sell it. So, sacrifice is something you give that costs you something. So, when David says, cost me something, simply means something comes out of him. His contribution. Something he will consider lost. Something he will consider a denial. It could be 5 minutes sleep. That is a cost to pray for somebody, to intercede for somebody. It could be giving away your food. The time we are spending now on this platform is a sacrifice. Some of us could be sleeping, some of us could be at work. I think Pastor Edna is, online from work. So, until you give something out of, something that is not out of convenience, is not considered what? A sacrifice. Giving but not sacrifice. The rich man or man donate a small portion of his money. Luke chapter 21, verse 1. That is giving, which is not sacrifice. It is giving, but it doesn't cost him much. Sacrifice equals giving plus cost. The poor widow gave all she had in Luke 21. That is sacrifice. Luke 21, verse 1 to 5. That is sacrifice. So mathematically, we say giving is any offering. Any offering. Sometimes people have problem with this. When there's an altar course, okay, if you have 1,000, there are 5 people with 1,000 come out. And then sometimes they will bring it to 500 to 200, and then they will say, okay, anything you have. Anything you have. They are not the same category. Prayers may not, I'm not saying that all prayers are not prayers, but you don't expect somebody who bring out 1,000, to be attended to the same way as somebody who bring out 5,000. Maybe the one that bring out that 1,000, it may have cost them something. Something will have to wait. maybe their project, maybe their business, maybe their rent, maybe their car, their insurance, will have to wait maybe for fund to come in before they can complete the cycle. That is sacrifice. So we say sacrifice is the giving away of something valuable for a greater purpose. This is sacrifice. When you give something away for, something valuable for a greater purpose is sacrifice. In Hebrew 13, verse 15 to 16, Paul gave us three categories or three types of sacrifice. The sacrifice of praise, which is the fruit of our lips, the sacrifice of goodwill, and the sacrifice of communication. This is what we are doing. He said, but to do good and to communicate, forget not, for which such sacrifice God is well pleased. God is well pleased. So the sacrifice is what pleases God. This is what he did. In John 3:16, the Bible says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. So why is this teaching coming up? It is not going to be a time when we are doing our Thanksgiving. May not be a time of convenience. It is not be a time that, you just have to feel like what I have, the most convenient thing, what I can lay my hand upon. That is giving. But if you want to make a sacrifice, it goes beyond there. It goes beyond just what you can lay your hand upon. A man of God once said that miracle is opportunity plus preparation. Opportunity plus preparation equals miracle. We have time to do our Thanksgiving once a year. It has to be, we have to prepare for it. We have to prepare for it. Now let's look at the next focus tonight. When is giving considered a sacrifice? When is giving considered a sacrifice? Like I said, giving will have to be consistent and, in a continuous form before it can enter the realm of sacrifice, as the case of Cornelius was. Sacrifice is considered, giving is considered a sacrifice when it costs us something precious. When it costs us something precious. So in our Thanksgiving harvest, how much does $5 cost you? How much does $10 cost you? How much does $20 cost you? If we give what is left over, it is charity. If we give what we need or treasure, it becomes sacrifice. If we give what we need or what we treasure, what do we treasure? Our savings from January to December. TFSA, tax-free saving account. Oh, I have saved this for Christmas. I have saved this for new clothes. I have saved this. Since I don't have money, let me take from here to give thanks to God. Something has left you. That is sacrifice. Rather than holding on to that $5. Now, waiting I give. God loves a cheerful giver. Absolutely. But you have not sacrificed. David said, I will not offer burnt offering to the Lord my God that cost me nothing. 2 Samuel 24, verse 24. When is giving, consider a sacrifice. Number two, when it requires faith in God's provision. When it requires faith in God's provision, that is, you are giving out something, maybe your very last, and you by faith you are believing that there will be a provision. That is sacrifice. The woman, the widow of Zarephath, she didn't know where food is going to come from. She didn't know where food is going to come from. But she obeyed and do what she was instructed to do. In 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 8 to 16. So when our giving meet with faith for God's provision, the reason we don't give is because mathematically we are looking at what we have and we are looking at tomorrow. We are looking at what we have and we are looking at tomorrow. If we want to build our faith very, very strongly, if we really want to act in faith, this is the question we need to ask. I know somebody will want to take it to the extreme by, using mortgage as an example. But look at this question. David says, since I was born and now that I'm old, I have not seen the righteous forsaken nor the children begging for bread. If you are 20 years, if you are 100 years, if you are 50 years old, count how many days you have gone without food in your entire life. As bad as the economy may have been, don't count the days you fasted. How many days have gone? You have no food to eat. This is faith in God. But when we try to restrain and say, okay, it is all by what I do, we begin to hold the hand of God in supplying our needs. Givers, they say, never lack. Number three, when it reflects God's love and devotion. When it reflects God's love and devotion. Sacrifice flow from love. Sacrifice flow from love. Nobody can force you to make a sacrifice. Even when it comes very diabolic, I'm sorry to use this, it is the love people have for what they want that prompt them to sacrifice, that much for what they want. It is love. Sacrifice, the engine room, what ignites sacrifice is love. And that love reflects our devotion. Who do you love most? Is it God or the things God has given you? Who do you treasure more? Is it the things God gave you in life or God who make you to be alive? Sacrifice flow from love. We give sacrificially when love for God or others outweigh personal comforts. This is why we give sacrificially. When some people are giving, not because they have. This is something very true, very unique. When people give us bag of rice, they give us oil, they give us, food. Mama will bring food and clothes and shoes and everything. It's not because maybe she has these things in her body. She don't have a warehouse. She don't have a manufacturing store. She has bills to pay. They have bills to pay. Everybody that gives have one thing or the other to do with money. But the love, there are things they put on hold. There are things they close their eyes to that prompt them to do what they are doing. And this is where sacrifice comes from. Mary of Bethany poured out costly perfume on Jesus' feet. John chapter 12, verse 3. Showing extravagant devotion. This is a message of his own. John chapter 12, verse 3, a very powerful message. Then she took Mary a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Jesus and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled with the odor of the ointment. This was not a saint. She was not a disciple. She was not even invited into the house. She was considered a sinner. But anyhow, she found her way there. There were protocols that were not met. When Jesus entered into the house of Simon, his feet was not washed, which was a tradition for every Jew. But this woman who was called sinner came in with her tears, anoint the feet, wipe the feet of Jesus with her hair. Do you know the hair of a woman is her glory? It will amaze you the cost of attachment that women wear, one attachment, how costly it is. For any woman to use that to clean anybody's leg, it shows the amount of love this woman had for Jesus. She used her glory to serve Jesus, her crown to serve Jesus. Number 4, when it is done willingly, not by compulsion. I like our bishop so much. When we fail to pay our tithe, he will call us out to anoint us. That is by compulsion. When it is done willingly, that is sacrifice. That is sacrifice. When you are not forced, when you are not pressured, when you are not pushed, it is sacrifice. 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 7 says, every man according as he proposeth in his heart, so let them give, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loves a cheerful giver. God loves a cheerful giver. Number 5, when it involves self-denial. This is when giving becomes sacrifice. When it involves self-denial, when what you are giving will cost you something, will make you, to miss something, either your breakfast, your dinner. When you have to take excuse to visit somebody at the hospital, you are going to miss some hours. That is sacrifice. When you give without expecting a return from anyone, it is sacrifice. When you give not willing to be promoted or to be announced or recognized, it is sacrifice. When it involves self-denial, sacrifice is not only about money or possession, time, comfort, opportunities, and personal desire can also be laid down for God. Our time, our desire, our comfort, our opportunities, they can be laid down for God. This is what sacrifice. Romans chapter 12, verse 1 says, offer your body as a living sacrifice. Offer your body as a living sacrifice. This is when giving becomes sacrifice. This is when giving becomes sacrifice. Why is sacrifice important? Sacrifice shows priority and love. When we sacrifice, we show our priority and love. Our priority and love. I like some social experiment on YouTube where you see people who tell, they will carry money and Bible and ask people to choose. Many will choose money. They will say, I have Bible at home. And many will say, I will take the money to go buy Bible. But unknown to many, inside that Bible, there is money inside. So our priority can only be revealed through the sacrifice we make. Our love can only be revealed through the sacrifice we make. So as we prepare for this Thanksgiving, what is your priority? What is your love? What do you love most? What do you love most? What can you not give? The case of Ananias and Sapphira is another unique message. It reveals their priority. It reveals their love. It reveals their priority. It reveals their love. Their personal agenda is a priority. Their love is for self and not for the church. This is why they held back a little some and give another, the balance, the leftover. But even when they were asked, they should have said exactly what they did to the money rather than lying. When we sacrifice something valuable for God, whether time, possession, or comfort, we prove that He is more important than anything else. I love this song that says, give me Jesus, take the whole world and give me Jesus. Take the whole world and give me Jesus. Take the whole world and give me Jesus. I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied. Is that really true? Is that really true? Sometimes we lie inside the sanctuary. Sometimes we lie when we say we are praising God. Somebody who cannot give away his seat is saying, take the whole world and give me Jesus. Ordinary chair, we can't offer it. Abraham offering Isaac in Genesis 22 show God that Abraham loved him above even his son. This is an example many people don't want to hear. They don't want to actually look at it. They said, some call it imaginary story. It is not real. How can somebody offer his only son? A man that waited for over almost 100 years to have a child, now got one, he's going to go sacrifice it. But it is in sacrifice you show your love. It is in sacrifice you show who your priority is. Sacrifice demonstrates faith and trust. This is why it is important. It demonstrates faith and trust. True sacrifice often costs us something and put us in a place of dependence on God. The illustration or the example I gave about the two friends and the other guy that came in, you know that sometimes, they says the end will always tell. Both the one that gave coins and the one that gave his lunch and the person who didn't bring anything at all, they both have the same time of the day, 24 hours. The sun set for all of them at the same time. They all went back home. The day did not run fast for one, it did not run slow for the other. Guess what? Whether we do certain things or we do not do certain things, people we help, people we do not help, they will still see tomorrow. They will still see tomorrow. But it would have been a joyful thing for somebody to look back and said, if not you, if not your help, if not you, this church would not be where they are. Sacrifice purify our worship. It purifies our worship. When our worship is contaminated or polluted, it is sacrifice that purifies it. We take our clothes to laundry to wash. Some laundry, some clothes are, when they are stained, they have some irremovable stain, but there are products, specifically meant that remove stain from clothes. This is what sacrifice does in our worship. Sacrifice purify our worship. Worship without sacrifice becomes cheap and self-centered. Sacrifice without worship is cheap and it becomes self-centered. Sacrifice strips away pride and selfishness, leaving us with a pure heart before God. Again, we refer to 2 Samuel 24:24. David says, anything that does not cost him anything, he would not offer it to God. And sacrifice reflects God's own nature. John 3:16. This is what sacrifice does. It reveals God's own nature. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. That is the nature of God. God himself gave the greatest sacrifice, his son, Jesus Christ, for our salvation. When we sacrifice, we mirror God's heart of giving and selflessness. Our sacrifice becomes a way of imitating God in his love. Paul says, imitate me as I imitate Christ. And one of the ways we can do that is through sacrifice. It's through sacrifice. Sacrifice deepens our relationship. This is very true and very, very important. Sacrifice deepens our relationship. If you date a girl or a man or a boy for 5 years, until you buy ring and put in their hand, they will not consider you serious. Take them to go and eat in the most expensive restaurant. They will not consider it serious. Until you make that commitment, that sacrifice, that is when they believe you are serious. So sacrifice deepens our relationship. Sacrifice is not about losing something, but about drawing closer to God. You can't say you love somebody when you don't spend time in communication with that individual. How well do you know a person? The person you know is the person you spend time with. Oh, we always talk. There's no week, there's no day we don't call each other. That is what? Sacrifice. For you to call somebody, it means you stop every other thing to talk to that individual. It creates intimacy because we lay down our will to align with his will. When we sacrifice to God, it deepens the relationship because it creates intimacy. We lay down our will and align our will with his will. Romans chapter 12, verse 1. Offer your body as a living sacrifice, holy, pleasing to God. This is your true and reasonable worship. This is what God expects of us when we sacrifice. In conclusion, the blessings of sacrifice are these: divine provision. God provides when we release what is costly. God provides when we release what is costly, what we cannot imagine, what we cannot dream about. God provide when we release what is costly. Genesis 22, verse 14. Abraham offer of Isaac, and then God make a pronouncement on him. Through him shall all the earth be blessed. He said, now I know you love me. Now I know you love me. See, God is waiting for, some of us are that verge where God will affirm whether we really love him or not. It is not speaking in tongues. It's not dancing. It's not maybe the teaching I am doing now. It's not preaching a powerful message. It is releasing something out of me that matters. That's what God is waiting for. Do you really love God? What can you offer? What can you sacrifice? Divine protection. God gives divine protection. Sacrifice can stop destruction. 2 Samuel 24, verse 25. You remember the reason David wanted that threshing floor was because of the plague that was on the nation. So with that altar he built, that plague was stopped. That sickness was stopped. When we give that which costs something, generational causes, generational problem can be eradicated for life. When we make sacrifice, we will leave legacy for our children that nobody will be able to take away from them. Divine multiplication. Sacrificial seed brings harvest. 1 Kings 17:16. Divine multiplication and divine memorial. God remembers sacrificial giver. Acts chapter 10, verse 4. Cleonis. If you give sacrificially, God will remember you. God remember Cleonis because he gives sacrificially. Let me ask you this. Why will God remember you? This is a food for thought. You cannot answer this tonight. Go back home, lie on your bed, and then look at the reflection of your life. For what reason will God remember you? What have you done that you think this reason God will remember me for it? If not even God, Mount Zion, what will you be remembered for in Mount Zion? God bless you. Please, if you have questions regarding this,